Welcome everybody, here's your Strategy Wolf, and welcome back to Pentiment, welcome back here in Chapter 3, welcome back with Margaret, or Margarete, here in the Drucker house, and yeah, bad things again have been happening. Our father Klaus has been assaulted after we found out about these discussions around the mural, what they would paint and what not, and yeah, once more... Yeah, but I don't know how much time he has left. Werner said it could be a few months or... Yeah, and we thought he survived it, but he seems to be pretty, yeah, badly injured, according to the doctor. So he didn't make us too much hope. But so it is on to us now to find out, first of all, who the murderer is, I guess. And at the same time finish this painting. So, yeah, huge tasks are upon us again. God protect him indeed, yeah. I'll pick up where Dad left off. He wanted to paint the history of Tassing from the earliest day to the revolt. I'll start with the earliest part of Tassing's history, then pagan tribes and the Romans. Then I'll move on to the founding of the Abbey and Tassing saints. After that I should find a way to represent our recent history. Depicting the revolt is important to that. People in Tassing might know some of the town's history, but not all of it. Dad said the library in Kieso had those records. He was going to write to the last prioress to see if he had any information. I should write to her now while I'm thinking about it. Write to Mother Illuminata. Okay, Klaus is, or Dad is upstairs. Let's have a quick look again, just to get you guys excited and so forth. And yeah, thank you so much, by the way, for one of the first comments, or one of the first recent comments, Magdalene. Hey Dad, are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. You go on. Alright, I'll come back and check on you later. Okay. Yeah. So back, yeah, thank you for the first real, like in a long time, the first real comment recently. I really appreciate that one. Seems to be, finally, we have confessing people that are not watching Pentiment with me. And not just silently observing. That's good to see. And I think let's go back to the task and let's start writing immediately. Where to begin? Illuminata. Dad told me the last prioress at Kieso knew something about the old history of Tassing. Said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna. Mother Illuminata? Yes, it's Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Is this not ours? Small town in the Republic of Genoa along the coast of Liguria. Okay. It's our personal saint. Right, yeah, who's Margaret stands for? Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita. Formerly librarian prioress of Kieso Abbey. Oh, I think the first one, right? We could... Maybe she doesn't want to be... connected to Kieso. Maybe let's not address her immediately in the beginning. I don't know how it is for church titles, if they like would be remembered for their former roles, to be honest. If there's a difference, the librarian is definitely not. Yeah, let's do the letter. My name is Magdalene Druckerin. I do not believe we have ever met, as I was very young when you left Kieso. You were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before the terrible fire consumed the place. I am writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rathaus. It's going to tell the history of our community and of Kieso as well. We have only legends and folklore, since of course all of Kieso's books were destroyed in the fire. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the Abbey itself, we would also be glad to hear of it. We would appreciate any help you could give us and hope you're well. Yeah, well, I would say rather the first or the second. Forgot how Illuminata was. She was quite quiet, I guess. Gertrude was the bigger one that helped us with the recipes. She was the nice one. How was Illuminata? My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the library and its books. Hope this was not wrong. God bless you, Magdalene. Let's see if this works. The new watch here. If I want to finish the mural before Christmas, I should start planning tomorrow. I should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. Or shall we go for a outdoors visit somewhere? I wanted to actually go and visit, but it seems like we cannot leave the house anyways. Okay. Let's do it. Yeah, I wanted to maybe go to the Roman ruins and check it there, and like maybe get impressions for the mural over there. Have a good sleep, Magdalene. Wait, what? Hello? Are we not investigating anything further or something? Okay, maybe this was wrong. What the hell? 2 weeks have passed. Ah, Mistress Druckerin, I have a few letters here addressed to you. Oh wow, what is Reichspost? Kaiserlich Reichspost Salvaguardia. And wow, these details. I think if you watch down there, during the time of Charles V, I guess, or a little bit later, but you see how these Spanish, basically the Spanish crowns in the Eagle of the Empire and all these other coat of arms down there, a little bit too small, but still, I think, very good detail. Reichspost by Turn und Taxis, I think we talked about it before. Take care now. Thank you, sir. I'm a little bit annoyed that, well, I'm surprised that we couldn't do anything in the meantime. Mother Illuminata wrote back to me. I hope her response helps me paint the mural. It was her, sure, truly. Mistress Druckerin, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. She was quite a quiet one, I think. I remember you both, as your father would carry you between the rows of your library in the final years. I also remember your late mother and brother. God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discussed Hassing's past, it's likely they were mythological as what your neighbors believe. That said, I remember one of the peasants, Tillmann Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. I know he died during the revolt, but perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. I should also say that it's not true that all of Keser's books were destroyed by the fire. Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames, God rest his soul. Oh yeah. In the aftermath of that terrible night, cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Kiersau, the murder of Baron Rothvogel. Chapter 1. I had mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassiae, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. He had mentioned something. I had forgotten about it until now because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall the late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia Tassiae shortly before he died. He never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. Perhaps Prior Ferenc took it from the Baron after the murder. Ferenc had an interest in books of all sorts, of course, but it seems like an odd thing to do in the moment. Then again, only God knows what he did and why he did it. Michlaus Häberle, the Baron's manservant, believed it may have been stolen by the town thief Martin Bauer. Okay. He stole it from in the first day, right? From the guest house. There was something that's jewelry of the Baron was taken. Matthias Häberle, I don't remember him. Michlaus. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Yeah, we know already that it is. It's Jobst, and Martin is dead. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man has passed from his world, perhaps his family knows where the book would wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as sacristan, Prior Mathieu learned a great deal about the subject. Okay, Mathieu. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know that he's now Archdeacon of Sion. That's Switzerland, right? Once a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, Sion became the capital of Valais when the canton joined the Swiss Confederacy during the Swabian War in 1499. He's no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name, Faucigny-Saint. Faucigny-Saint? If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before snow covers Valais. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend to the Abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from Tassing. I pray that you have seen better days since that night and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Oh wow, that was a helpful letter from Illuminata, Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margarita. That was a really, really helpful letter. I'm impressed. It seems like we got the right tone out there. And here, oh, Esther wrote to me as well. Interesting. Oh, she's printing. My dear Magda, I pray it goes well with you. Prague has been blessedly warm as of late. We are still residing outside of the city, but we found a place to stay nearby. Father thinks the king's expulsion order will be lifted eventually. He says Jews are too important to printing here for the king to push us out forever. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I've made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elisha has taken to making his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market. She set him scrubbing the floors for it. Took him 3 days. I'm glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. Though, really, if you don't plan to stay in Tassing, you ought to come sooner rather than later. There are plenty of beautiful young Christian men around town, printers and academics alike. Or maybe something else. You'll have your pick. Prague is a good city for me as well. Before the expulsion, there was a handsome man at the synagogue, Simon, who caught an eye on me. His father is a merchant, and he's a doctor. He went to University of Padua. Can you believe it? I'd quite like to marry him if I can find him again. Anyway, I think you'd have even better luck than me. The boys would swoon at a beautiful blonde artist from the Alps. Please keep us abreast from your father's mural. Keep us abreast of your father's mural. You'll have to come see when it is finished. Keep us abreast. I don't know this expression. Probably keep us updated or something. Blessings, Esther. I'll have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home and check on that. Okay. Yeah, what did we do in the meantime? We kind of skipped like a week minimum. With no investigation in the end. Hey Dad, how you feeling? Ah, Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? Can you bring us something light like milk or broth? No, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather told him any stories. Black Till, yeah. Illuminata said he used to read about the Romans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. What did I just call her? Alright, yes, Mother Illuminata. Young Kreutzer has mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found some interesting old ruin out in the fields, you might ask him about that. Yeah, we have all seen that several times. A pity that ill Peter passed. He knew a great deal about Tassing's earliest history. What was that? I think his granddaughter Ursula might have learned a thing or two from him. Okay. She was always quite keen on those things. It made Clara nervous. You might talk to Smokey too. Oh, nice. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods around town than anyone else. That and his known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the runes. Yeah, we chatted right in the beginning of chapter 3 already. You may hear something worth your while at any rate. I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever's left over from the Romans and before. The salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest part of Tusting, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. Ah, you take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. You always said that what's good artists do. That's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, right? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know when Jörg doesn't keep them in line. Always making trouble, those two. They don't have enough brains enough to keep out of trouble. I do. That's good. Heh, I should hope so. You're the one running the shop for now, after all. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? You still have a household to run. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. That's my goal. I'd better get going if I want to do all of that today. I'll see you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. We could have done this easily in the meantime, right? But okay, yeah. The game wants us to do it this order, then we do it this order, and we will. Okay, let's leave the house in this case. Oh, maybe I could have left. No, it was here. Where are we going to start? I kind of wanna check out the ruins first by myself. Paul, yes. Paul is the son of the former miller, right? Wait. To the ruins I wanted to go. No, huh? Mill? Wait, what's the way to go there? Meadow? You cannot go to the ruins anymore? Is this... Morning, Magdalene. How's the mural coming along? Well, I think I'm off to start the first part of the mural channel. Paint the founding of Tusing and the Romans. Well, you won't want for any models. Tussing's littered with Roman ruins. It's almost a nuisance. What sort of mural are you creating, Magdalene? I believe Klaus was planning on a fresco. Well, I'll start with the intonacchio and then paint a fresco over it, so that I have a clear consistency. Oh, I see. I think he doesn't know. Do you have enough plaster? The Rathaus wall is so large I was worried it wouldn't stay wet for long. Since when did the town miller know so much about art? It's been an interest of mine since childhood when my father disapproved. Ah, and Andreas encouraged him even. After my mother and I left Tussing, we stayed with her family for a few months before we heard what happened. Your father's friend Andreas, he encouraged me to draw. Ah. While we were away, I studied in my uncle's library. I've collected books about various art styles since we returned. Can't imagine what I would have done if Dad didn't learn me how to print and paint. Oh, it didn't stop me. I just became better and better at hiding my art. That's why Anna and I have decided that whatever Andreas and Ulrike show interest in, he'll support. Wait, Andreas is the boy down there, he's called after Andreas Mahler. Oh, that's cool. May not something that they can make a little life from, but rather nurture that interest. Well, anyway, I'm glad the mural is going well. Forgive my sudden question about it. I've been so busy preparing for the council next meeting, I haven't had as much time with Anna as usual. She says I get a bit frenetic when I'm overwhelmed. Is the council working on something new? We're considering yearly maintenance checks in every house in Tusting. The idea had quite a bit more pushback than we anticipated. I can understand the utility of the proposition, but it might feel like a nuisance. Precisely, that's the issue we've run into. This would help protect those in Tusing who don't have the skill to fix things themselves. Widows like Agnes or Gret. But without instituting it for the whole town, we can't enforce the proposition. In any case, the water is far from resolved. The matter. I imagine spring will come before anything's actually done. I'd better get to work. Thank you for letting me interrupt your day, Magdalene. God bless you. Until later, Paul. Interesting. Magdalene. Okay. What about Anna? What's up with her? And Ilse. Boy, I can't remember her. Probably the mom of Paul, right? God bless you, Magdalene. Okay, Ulrike. Magdalene! Hello, Ulrike. Hello! What are you doing? Watching. Very well, keep up the good work. Work, haha, it's just like now. I will work now. Okay. And Else maybe is an old lady in town. Magdalene, can I help you with something? I can't see how you're doing. Well enough, even if I don't know why you care. Because Paul is my friend, as are you. Dear Paul, he's grown into a good man. I almost failed him just like I failed my poor dad. Leonhard. What the hell? She's still into this bastard? Why did he die when so many lived? I'm just that might for Paul and Anna. I never should have escaped the mill. If I understand... Huh? He mentioned that he was cheating her. If I understand what you're implying correctly, that's a sin, Else. I'm already a sinner, Magdalene. Leave me, please. Okay, that was not the smartest move. I thought I could maybe get something out of her. But no, apparently not. Apparently not. And we cannot go to the ruins. That is still kind of confusing to me. That's why we're gonna start off with Smokey. Let's do the forest first. Yo, what's up, Smokey? What's going on here? Queen of this forehand is one of the few plants that grows year round here. Okay. Smokey, how you doing? Good day, Mistress Brookerin. I've told you, Smokey, call me Magdalene. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you to my corner of the woods? More gossip? Only ancient gossip. I was wondering if you knew anything about the old pagan and Roman mines. The mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the town folk trek out there as much anymore. Last I saw were those two twins making trouble. They know a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? The mural on the Rathaus needs a section about the earliest days of Tassing. The mines are the oldest part of Tassing and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting into the mines, but I do know a fair few stories about them and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories from my father used to tell me when he was the burner of Tassing. The ones about Mars and Tassia, the nymph, was always my favorite, though I blame that on my youth. Tassia? Like Tassing? Folk named the town after a pagan god, a Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. Oh, count me curious, I've read plenty of Roman myths, I'm sure none of it will surprise me. Maybe not, but I won't have your father hounding me for coarseness. Folk in this town don't like me anyhow. But I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. Everyone excludes me from the fun. You'll have your fun in time, Magdalene. Just wait and see. Alright, so what's the story? Well, legends say that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. He just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off and the god was angry at the loss of his quarry. So he tramped through the woods to see why a woman was in the forest and not in the local town. But I go into the forest all the time. Yes, but those were the old woods, Magdalene. The wilds where spirits and ghosts crawled. Crawled? Okay. You're just trying to scare me. No, Magdalene, why would I do that? You've been telling me ghost stories since I was a girl. You always try to scare me. Ah, but you've grown up since then. You're not so easy to scare anymore. Alright, keep going. So Mars found an nymph, Cassia, bathing in a spring with a fat, ugly satyr goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well... heh. Cassia bathed the gods. Ha, I get a day bath. I did warn you, Magdalene. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground and it blossomed with flowers and crops. They say that's why this valley is so fertile. Mars got around, didn't he? Was there any nymph he didn't have his way with? He was the god of virility, wasn't he? You can see why I liked that tale in my youth. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. You can never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind too. But how is more Roman than Bavarian, really? Because of how long it was a Roman colony. That and how much of the town is built upon the Roman foundations. Casting is actually much smaller now than it was in the Roman days. At least that's what I make of it. The ruins go deep into the forest and all the way to the old mine. Half of Casting is built on Roman stone. Take a walk around town and you'll start noticing things. We used their stone to build. The old temple by Satya's shrine has grown over, but the aqueduct runs for miles. Even the Abbey used to be an old Roman fort. You can see some of the Roman paved stones under the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, but this town is. Casting has been building upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. That's the way of things. Most people don't notice the old stones, too busy in town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Maybe I should go take a look at the mine. Let's get a better sense of what things were actually like. Ha! Haha, nothing will stop you, I see. Well, I won't either. Just keep an eye for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, eh? I'll let you know if I see any. Thank you for your help. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. Interesting. And Voxla? Hello, is there something I can do for you? Knives need sharpening? I'm Magdalene Brookerin. Are you a friend of Smokies? I'd like to think so. I'm Václav. I'm a tinker. Crawl around and help me people out with sharpening knives, little things like that. Brookerin, are you a printer's daughter? My father and I are both printers. Do you sample the wares much? Yes, I read books. Václav, don't. You're going to get in trouble again. Trouble? From me? No, not you, Mr. Brookerin. This one can't help but talk to people about all the strange things he believes. Reads all sorts of books, talks to odd folk, gets ideas brewing in his head. Now that doesn't bother old Smokey none. Bothers some other people a whole lot. It doesn't bother me any. Well, if it doesn't bother you and it doesn't bother old Smokey, sounds like there's nothing to worry about. Fine, you get run off there again, don't blame me. So books? Strange ideas? Yes. The host, the Eucharist, the bread and wine, body and blood of Christ. Holy Communion, what about it? More and more people are writing about rejection, transubstantiation. The idea that bread and wine of the Eucharist literally becomes the body and blood of Christ. Here we go. Martin Luther has written about it, I know that, and Erasmus disagrees. Well, yes, Luther and Erasmus aside, people have been thinking about this for a while. Both Wycliffe and Hus rejected transubstantiation for sound and logical reasons. Using our eyes, our senses, there's nothing perceptible that changes in the character of the bread and the wine. Oh, surprisingly theological discussions here in the Forrest. Must our senses necessarily encompass all of God's miracles for them to be real? No, not at all, but for what reasons would God place them outside? He placed them outside of the compass of our understanding. As an act of faith. Blessed are those who believe but have not seen. But if that is the case, of what importance is the material composition of the host? Even if the bread and wine turn to body and blood, why is that necessary for spiritual communion? We are bound by flesh, attempting to reunite with the light of God through the Eucharist. That's through the Eucharist. Consequent elements of communion, also called Lord's Supper and Holy Communion. In Catholicism, the Eucharist refers to the bread and wine after they have been transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ. The act, the observance, unites our will with that of Christ. God is present in us, He is present in us through the remembrance, not the physical act. Even Martin Luther said the presence of Christ's physical body and blood was necessary to communion. Yes, but the others at the Mainboard colloquy disagreed. Zwingli, Melanchthon, Bucer, all men far wiser and more educated on these matters than us. And if you consider that these men have rejected such thinking, then there are greater implications. Are you ready to hear why it is important to disbelieve in transubstantiation? Sure, why not? I'll admit I hoped for some more enthusiasm regarding the fate of our souls, but alright. This all starts with Lucifer creating the world. God was the world, and the Word was the Word, and the Word was truth, and truth is light. The light is God's will. God's light contained aspects that we consider angels, facets of His infinite intellect. One of these aspects separated itself from his intellect and manifested in the darkness as the corrupt will, Lucifer. Within that darkness, Lucifer cast his false light, a corrupted imitation of the divine intellect to create the world. All material in our world is inherently a corrupted manifestation of that false light. We still have a connection to God through our intellect, but it's flawed by existing in our physical bodies. But you still believe we can be redeemed through Christ, right? Well, of course. Finally, some sense. But not in the way that you think. Of course not. The way to be redeemed is to reunite our will with God's. How do we do that? Regular prayer, abstention from material desires, sublimation and elimination of want. That just sounds like being a monk. No, priests and monks both are corrupt agents of the business of the church. They have taken the simplicity of holy devotion and profaned it by paganry. The saints too. All this talk of morals and satya and miracles, they're just stories. The church has led people astray, put the hope of people in meaningless rituals, faith and relics. I can see why you don't go into town much. No one really wants me in town anyways. They want to fix their knives and their posts and little things and be on my way. And that's fine with me. I've seen so much of the world, learned so many things. I've made so many friends that I hope I'll see again if I've come their way. Anyway, thank you for your indulging me, Magdalene. Of course. Until later. Yeah, we don't have a strong stance, but we're happy to listen. Whew, that was a long lesson and it didn't save, right? Let's quickly go. I hope it saves now, because yes, it does, because this is the end of this very episode. Surprisingly, more than 5 minutes of theological lessons by Václav. Didn't expect this one coming. Nevertheless, also especially not here next to Smokey in the forest. We're gonna go for the ruins next in this direction for sure, and see if we can find something out about the salt mines, the Roman history. But once again, what learnings, right? Crazy stuff. I'm not a theological historian at the same time. Of course, I know Melanchthon and Zwingli and so forth, so I feel like this must be just... If you know that by heart and you're more into it, you can let me know if these theological arguments, what Václav just formulated on these things, are the baseline of a more reformed faith, of like Calvinism or Zwinglianism. I really don't know the fine details in between the different Protestant faiths. Grown up as a good old Catholic, just kidding, but yeah, this, they don't know the details. Yeah, you let me know that in the comments, and of course, if you're still here and you're happy to follow, and if you haven't yet, it would be simply fantastic if you leave me a like and subscription to support the channel a bit and honor my work. Thank you so much for that. And then most importantly, see you next time in the next episode, when we continue the story of Margaret here in Tassing. Thanks for watching. Bye. Your Strategy Wolf.